Hey everyone, market volatility exploded today with the VIX skyrocketing over 15%. We're going to talk a little bit more about the VIX here in a minute. But first, let's just dive into the price action on the SPY. We can see volatility here picking up compared to what it's been over the last several trading sessions, really tight, narrow range. In the last couple of trading sessions, really starting to get a little choppy here. We ended the day right at the zero gamma level, which is around 568. One thing we highlighted yesterday in our YouTube video was the 560 level as a potential target if we were to break down from this 570 zone. So, today could have been the first step in that process. Remains to be seen. We're basically right back into that zero GEX level. And so, it's kind of a 50-50 shot from this point, whether we're going to bounce up, break out of this zone here, and bounce up into the upper dealer cluster zone or continue breaking down into the lower dealer cluster zone. So the upper dealer cluster zone is 580 to 590, and on the lower side, it's 550 to 560. So Sean, I know you've been looking at some of the inflation data as well as the VIX. Why don't you talk a little bit more about what you're seeing?
Yeah, thanks, Anthony. We've got a lot of data this week centered around inflation. And then, of course, you can see what's happening. We've got the longshoreman strike. Iran, fired ballistic missiles into Israel. We have the supply chain disruptions. These are all things that are disruptive. And if 2020 taught us anything, it's that supply chain disruptions can be inflationary, especially when they try to paper over it with printing more money and pricing and further rate cuts. We had pointed out several times in the last week that the VIX looked like it was in the process of bottoming. And then yesterday we said it looked like it was turning a corner to the upside and was cooperating with our vision of where we thought it was going. And sure enough, we got this big spike today from the 16, 17 area up to almost 21. And interestingly, yesterday, it was you, Anthony, that pointed out that we had the volume accompanying these higher strikes as well, from 18 up to the 20 area. Today, we don't really see that volume above 20. We see volume at 20. We see volume, of course, where we started out down here at the 17 area. I'll take us over to the Keltner channels and the chart that I looked at yesterday to point out kind of where we thought it was going. Keltners are still pointing higher. We've spiked above that upper Keltner channel to reach that 21 area. So it wouldn't surprise me to see us pull back again, and see the VIX kind of wrestle with this 17 area once more.
Yeah, definitely, Sean. Something to watch this week for sure. Another space to watch in the inflation arena would be the metals, GLD in particular. We had been talking about GLD a couple of videos ago. We actually discussed this in our trading community Discord, this pullback that occurred over the last few trading sessions in GLD. We actually put a position on yesterday and got a really nice pop today right into this 245, 247 zone here. And one thing that I'm watching is the gamma exposure levels at 250. We also see gamma exposure growing at the 255 strike. That's also accompanied by large volume in the contracts at those strikes, both at 250 and 255. This is, 40,000 contracts coming in today at those levels, much higher than where we're trading as of today. So big move today. I see potentially more upside moves ahead in the coming days, especially with, this inflation scare that we're seeing as well.
Anthony, you probably remember the last week or so, there's a couple of times we brought up oil and looking at USO here, even back when we were toward the lows around here, we mentioned it, and that worked out pretty well. And then we mentioned it again with gamma still being positive, even when USO was down here in the 69 area. And it showed us October 18, we had a big gamma cluster at 74. Well, look at where we stopped today. We almost hit that 74 area. So what a move in one day. This is obviously spurred by the uncertainty and potential escalation in Iran, attacking Israel. So we'll continue looking for these types of plays, and this is certainly a sign of inflation rising, as you were saying.
Yeah, thanks, Sean. Next, let's just turn to the heat map for the S&P 500. With the VIX spiking 15%, mega cap tech, you can see here Apple, Nvidia, Microsoft, Google, Meta, really not doing quite as bad as you would imagine with a huge VIX spike like we saw today. Could be an early indication that this is a short-term VIX spike and things should settle down in the coming days. Remains to be seen, but I just think it's interesting. Usually we would see a lot of these names like Meta, Google, Microsoft down more than 2%, 3%, maybe 5% with a VIX spike of this magnitude. So a little bit of conflicting evidence here. I'm going to err on the side that this is a buy the dip opportunity just based on gamma exposure and the heat map that we're looking at here. By the way, if you guys are interested in accessing our gamma exposure tools and analytics on our dashboard, head over to geeksoffinance.com. You'll also get full access to our premium channels in Discord. We have a ton of great traders in there sharing information and their experiences. Something for everybody. You definitely want to check that out when you get a chance. I'll put a link to the Discord below as well. Thanks so much, everybody, for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next video.